love is running through my veins. Oh, this line can't be tamed. There's fire in my blood. Burn.
Right then, hello everyone and welcome back to the Assetto Corsa Championship as we are here back at the Suzuka circuit for round number, why do I not look this up before the race? Round number 14 of the Formula 1 World Championship here at the Suzuka International Racing Course in Japan for the Japanese Grand Prix. We are here for 11 minutes of the first stage of qualifying, just ahead of us. Maximilian Novikov is the first man out on track. But yes, Formula 1 is back at Suzuka. We were out here after a year's hiatus in 2018, but we are finally back at this legendary circuit that is considered to be the staple of the Formula 1 calendar to many people. But yeah, it is great to be here as we're going to witness Maximilian Novikov make his way around the circuit on his outlap. Let's go through the circuit. So, the Suzuka International Racing Course, I will not attempt to pronounce the Japanese version of it, more famously known as Suzuka Circuit, obviously. This circuit was first opened in 1962. And back then, it was mostly made for, it was a few regional series over the years. Formula 1 came there and has run there ever since 1987 with a few intermittent races at the other Grade 1 Japanese circuit, the Fuji Speedway, but mostly it has been here at Suzuka. Even many legendary racing series as well, stuff like the Endurance World Championship, which is the motorcycle endurance series. The Suzuka 8 Hours has run there ever since 1978, and you have a slew of different racing series, international and regional, that have come over the years, stuff like the World Sports Car Championship and Super Formula known as Formula Nippon, obviously, and then the Super GT as well. Many different layouts and configurations over the years have been here at the Suzuka circuit, but this is the one that we're running. The Grand Prix circuit, which has been present ever since 2009, boasts a track length of 5.821 kilometers and 17 no, I'm looking at the wrong one. It's a motorcycle circuit, sorry. The Grand Prix circuit is 5.807 kilometers and 18 turns. And we should have laps in the 130s to 140s, I would say. But the circuit, very high speed. It's got a lot of flowing corners, even an overpass. So this circuit is technically a figure 8. But yeah, the circuit is very flowing, very legendary. There's been many different race winners in Formula 1 over the years. Obviously in the ACOC we have only had one. It was back in the inaugural ACOC season back in 2017, where you had Mohammed Patel, who took the race win. I believe that was his third race win of the season back in 2017. It was Dennis Graf who claimed the pole here back in 2017, so he might be the man to watch here. But a lot of people here on the grid. Obviously, this is going to be their first time coming to the Suzuka circuit. The circuit has only ever been raced in Formula 1 cars. We've never come here with another track. We were supposed to come here with Formula 2, but that was moved to Mexico instead. As we have the times coming in on the board then. There's Mandich across the line, his Red Bull. Obviously, Red Bull sporting Honda engines. As there's tossed across the line, Honda is going to be their home Grand Prix as well, obviously. So, yeah, they will be. I think Red Bull are going to be the ones to watch as well. As we're now having the times come in on the board. There's FG in third, Graf, his teammates, lost into P5. At the moment. There's Patel across the line, and he goes P10. Singh across the line, there's Kulasek as well, into P14. He might have had traffic on that lap though, as the Williams, they're just up ahead. Quite close to each other. But that is all the 20 times on the board then, and it is Jesper Johansson, who is faster with a 1:31.2. And then you have your bottom 5, which are currently Singh, Albon, Blackwood, Novikov, and Shuto. So you've got the 2 Haas's, the 2 Williams, and the Alfa Romeo of Milka Singh. You got Alfred Klaus there, a bit low in P7 at the moment, as you have Fernando Tost in P6. And one thing I should mention, just struck me, Jesper Johansson has a chance of sealing the title here at Suzuka. The exact championship criterias that I do not know for the time being, but I can give you the brief rundown of how it looks in the championship at the moment. Jesper Johansson leads by 42 points from Dennis Graf in P2. So Johansson 241, Graf on 199. Essentially, all Johansson needs to do is outscore Graf by 8 points, and he is world champion. But yeah, it is unlikely for him to clinch a championship this early. If he would, then I think this would be the earliest we've ever had a Drivers' Championship being clinched. But we will see. Can Graf keep the championship fight alive? Or will it be Jesper Johansson taking a second world title at the Suzuka circuit? Yeah, just got it in here. So what Johansson needs to do is he needs to outscore Klaus by 3 points, and then outscore Graf by 10 points. So essentially, if Johansson were to finish, let's say, P1, and then you had Graf at P3, that would be enough for Jesper to clinch his second world championship. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see how the race goes, as Milka Singh gets himself up to P13 out of the elimination zone. He pushes Wojtek Kulasek down into the bottom 5, as we currently have the two Alfa Romeos now out of the elimination zone at the moment, and you have the 2 Toro Rossos as well. McIntyre just there in P15 on the edge, and you have Samet Özkan in P12. The question is if the 2 Haas's will be able to get up to speed here. Victor Albon will be wanting to get himself out of Q2 as Novikov improves, so he splits the 2 Haas's apart. Franco Gamba improves up at the P9, but as I was saying, there goes Blackwood up at the P17. But as I was saying, Victor Albon in P18. It's not had the best memories at this circuit. In 2017, his race came to a premature end when he put back. As we have Milka Singh currently on the lap. There's Özkan Tepehina and Zasnishkai up into 4th position. Now that is a hell of a lap from the Serbian in the run, a 1:31.6. He gets himself ahead of Tomas Mandic even onto the second row. Obviously this is just Q1, I know, but as Mandic takes back the 4th position, responds to Zasnishka's lap and pushes the Serbian down into P5. Still a pretty good lap time from Lavan Zasnishka, as Maximilian Novikov improves up into 18th in the Williams. There's Jafari Blackwood up into 15th place, as he actually gets himself out of the bottom 5 with 2 minutes to go. Let's see if he can make that last. With 1:32.541, he's just ahead of Kulasek by 1/100th of a second. Blackwood though is going to continue on this lap as he rounds turn number 8. This is the Degner curve, the right-hander, and then if you turn 9 as well. Or no, now we're at the hairpin. Sorry, I'm having a bit of issues localizing myself here for some reason. Now through the long right-hander, turn number 12. Through turn 13 here into the left of Spoon Curve. Very legendary corner here. Through turn 14, very late apex there. Now as he heads down this little club start finish straight, down to probably the most legendary corner on the track, 130R as it is known. Through he goes, flat out, and just down to turn number 16, the final chicane known as the Casio Triangle, through turn 17, and now just one more corner to go, not before he comes into the pit lane though. So thank you Jafari for making that quite anticlimactic, but yeah, I tried at least. You got Lewis McIntyre on a lap at the moment, the man who currently is P17. In the elimination zone, the Toro Rosso driver will be wanting to get himself out of there, obviously. McIntyre, a fantastic qualifier. He's really showed that this season with Toro Rosso. Toro Rosso obviously looking to be quite a lot better on pace this season, which is fantastic to see. As we have qualifying now finished, Q1 finished, as Johansson improves ahead of Enes Paratsky. Lewis McIntyre is going to be the first man across the line then, and he goes P10, so he's gone himself out of Q1 with that lap. There's a Snitchgate to pit lane. What can Johansson's teammate Paratsky do at the moment? As it is currently Mercedes 1-2, Paratsky does not improve. Neither does Miran FG in P3. What about Wojtek Kulasek? Can he get himself out? No, he cannot. But that is going to be Wojtek Kulasek out of qualifying. As Mandage comes into the pit lane, we've got Victor Albom. Is he on a flyer as he rounds the Casio Triangle? Let's see what Albom can do. As he's into the pit lane, so Victor Albom is out of qualifying. Here's the two. Here is the 2 Racing Point boys. You got Patel just trailing ahead of Kai Shrezhnia there in the background. Let's see if the two will finish up their laps, and if they could send improvement. Currently both are safe in Q1 here, as they both round the final corner. No, Shrezhnia comes in, Patel's going to finish up his lap, and Patel goes P6 with that lap, and that is Q1 done and dusted. Jesper Johansson takes the fastest spot, and your bottom 5 are Wojtek Kulasek, Jafari Blackwood, Maximilian Novikov, Victor Albom, and Josef Frederick Schuto. As we're now going to get underway with Q2, then both Hasses knocked out in Suzuka, so this is really not their race, it looks like. Or their qualifying, should I say. But yeah, it's a shame to see both of them down there. And then Kulasek as well just hasn't really been on the pace when it comes to qualifying. It looks like his teammates Zasnishka obviously beating him quite soundly in the championship at the moment, as Kulasek stands on 18 points and Zasnishka stands on 34. So yeah, Zasnishka obviously was tipped to be the number 2 at Renault at the beginning of the season compared to the more experienced Kulasek. Tables have turned from what everyone was expecting. But Mercedes 1-2 then up at the top. You got Johansson leading Parachki, and then FG in P3. Will that last heading into Q2 and then possibly Q3 is where it's all gonna matter for the championship fight between Klaus Graf and Johansson. As Thomas Mandic, the teammate of Klaus, first man out as he rounds the S-curves. You can see how much the drivers really attack those corners. It's really fantastic to see the cars go through there. It's a challenge for the car as much as it is a challenge for the driver as well. A lot of G-forces through this track as well, considering how high speed it is, and the turning forces are absolutely insane. Especially with how much faster the cars keep getting season over season. Thomas Mandic, as he makes his way down to Spoon Curve, obviously a very decorated driver in the ACOC, made his debut with Campos in Formula 2 in 2017. Obviously, the 2017 F2 field carrying a lot of drivers who made it into Formula 1, obviously. He was partnered alongside Rosetta Martinez. That's a name you may recognize as well, for those who stay up to date with Formula 2. But Mandic, obviously a very, very dominant season it was for Thomas Mandic. Even though it was very, very close in his championship, Mandic secured 3 wins in the season, which would be enough for the Croatian to take the Formula 2 title, as he battled with many different drivers for the championship. In fact, he wasn't even leading the championship heading to the final round of Abu Dhabi. But he won the final race to take the championship ahead of Milka Singh in P2 and Linus Timel in P3, which earned him a promotion to Formula 1 with Renault. Obviously, he was the Renault reserve driver in 2017, and he earned the call-up to the full-time senior team. And what a hell of a season it was for the Croatian. Scored points consistently throughout the season to finish P7 in the championship, which he was the highest placing driver out of the rest, which weren't he was the English. He was the highest placing non-Red Bull, Mercedes or Ferrari driver in that championship as a rookie. Scored a P2 at the very hectic Hungarian Grand Prix, and 52 points to his name. Very, very impressive it was from Mandic. Then Red Bull decided to actually drop Mohamed Patel, their second driver, in favor of the Croatian. And you see how the season's gone now. It's been quite rocky for Thomas Mandic. Only one podium to his name, which was at the Spanish Grand Prix, where he obviously won it. So that is actually remains his only race victory and only podium in Formula 1. But he now, at least, has written himself into the history books as the first Formula 2 graduate to become a winner in Formula 1. And that's a fantastic feat, and really goes to show how far the ACC finally has gone. But yeah, other than that, it's not really been a very good season for the Croatian, unfortunately. It's been quite the podium drop for him, and it's a shame to see him down there. But we all know he is a great talent. As the times are now coming in on the board. There's Miran Evji with a 1:30.999. So just in the 1:30s there by the skin of his teeth. Got Fernando Toster in second and Luca Farina in third as Franco Gamba crosses the line. Got a few more guys coming across the line. There's Klaus going faster than FG. As he's gone fastest and ahead of his teammate Thomas Mandic, who didn't have the greatest lap. It looked like 1:31.771. There's Patel across the line. He goes faster than the man who replaced him at Red Bull. As he heads through the S-curve, Mandic improves. He gets himself ahead of Mohamed Patel, but not ahead of Luca Farina. There in P5, there's Laban Sosnishka and Samet Özkan, as both go across the line virtually wheel to wheel. Özkan, though, he is ahead of Zasnishkai, both on track and on times. There is Johansson across the line, and he goes behind Miran Energy at the moment in P3. There's McIntyre across the line. Kai Trezhnia with an improvement. He's currently P13, and Enis Paratsky, ooh dear, with the 131.9. I think Paratsky doesn't look to have been held up on this lap. But I don't think that will be his final lap. I think that's to say the least. So, yeah, I wonder what happened to Enis Paratsky. Must have made a mistake somewhere on his banker lap. Either way, he'll be wanting to improve later on in the session. As he rounds turn number 8, or turn number 9, that is, sorry. Now through turn 10 and the hairpin, turn number 11. On the curve there, nice on the exit. Through turn 12. Flat out in these cars, obviously. Then into turn number 13 and 14 is the spoon curve. Left-hander uses all the curve he can there on the outside. As he heads down the paddock start-finish straight now through 130R, turn number 15. It's going to be absolutely flat out in these cars. Camera angle really capturing the speed of the cars around 130R. As I think we saw Singh improve up the P9, Chereshny up at the P11. Let's see where Enis Paratsky can go. And to the top he goes. From P15 to P1 goes Enis Paratsky with a 130.8. He gets himself out of Alfred Klaus and into the fastest spot. So nice stuff there from Enis Paratsky. But that is your bottom 5 confirmed. Then we have, well, not confirmed, but your bottom 5 is Patel, Chereshny, Özkan, Zasnishkai, and then Dennis Graf down there in P15. I wonder what's happened to the world champion as well. I'm just thinking if he can get off the back foot then. But Paratsky's still busy pounding around the circuit. Where is Graf, may I wonder? And better question, what has happened to Dennis Graf? As Mohammed Patel's going to go across the line. And up at the P9 goes Patel to get himself into Q3 provisionally. And I think I may know what has happened to Dennis Graf. He is stuck behind the Renault of Labos Zasnishkai. So Dennis is not going to be too happy with this, and especially it's going to be crucial as he's chasing down Jesper Johansson in the championship as they all head down the start-finish straight. Singh up at the P7. That's a very good lap time from Milka Singh with a 131.4, and that's going to get him into Q3 for sure. As he's got teammate Farina there up in P9, so both Alfa Romeos currently in Q3 as Graf heads through the S-curves along with Zasnishka. You see how much he's losing. But Paratsky, there at the top, he is only gaining. He's a 10th faster than Alfred Klaus at the moment. This is only Q2. We don't know if teams are pushing or not. But Dennis Graf, look at this. As they're going to head down into the hairpin, you can see how frustrated it must be here behind the rear of the Serbian. As he just cannot get an improvement in whatsoever. As they're going to head into Spoon Curve. He won't be able to try a move here. Best shot he's going to get is into the Casio Triangle, but by then it's already too late to salvage the lap. Might he get a nice run here down the paddock start-finish straight. Yeah, he's going to try it into 130R on the inside line. Here goes Dennis Graf, and is Zasnishka going to back off? Yes, he does. So that is Dennis Graf ahead with a very, very ballsy move in qualifying here, by the way. Imagine if that would have ended up in a crash. That would not have been good for the pair of them, and Graf goes across the line and into P7 goes Dennis Graf, not before he gets knocked down to P8 by Milka Singh. But I think that should be enough to get the world champion into Q3. Either way, for good measure, I think he's just going to finish up this lap as well. As we have the clock ticking down, and it's down to 0, and that means the checker flag is now out, waiting for 11 cars across the line. Luca Farina is going to be the first man across the line. Can the Italian improve from P10? No, he cannot. What about Alfred Klaus, who's currently second? Klaus does not improve. Mohamed Patel's on the lap as he just comes out of Spoon Curve. Now down the this little start-finish straight, down to 130R. Flat out on the throttle there as he heads into the Casio Triangle. Through the final couple of corners, is he going to finish up the lap or come into the pits? He is coming into the pits, so Mohamed Patel is out of Q2. What about Franco Gamba? Gamba decides to finish up the lap. You can see he's P5 at the moment, so Gamba has done very well there in 5th as Mandic comes into the pits. But yeah, very stellar qualifying from Franco Gamba. I've kind of failed to mention it, but he's done well as Graf is in after finishing P8. Johansson's in, so I don't think anyone's actually going to finish up these laps. McIntyre, let's see, he's going to finish it up. Yes, he does. And will Lewis McIntyre improve on this lap? Yes, he does. And up at the P10 it goes, and he's just knocked out Luca Farina there, as Enes Prashi is now going to be the final man across the line, and he's already on fastest, so there's going to be no change in the order there. And that is all the 20 times. That is all the 15 times on the board. Q1, Q2 done and dusted. And your bottom 5 are Luca Farina, Mohamed Patel, Kai Tereshnia, Samet Özkan, and Laban Zasnishkai. So Farina, very unlucky there to just lose it out in the final moments of qualifying. But that brings Lewis McIntyre, the Toro Rosso, into Q3. So once again, a very good performance from him. And then you have you got Franco Gab up there in P5. So both McLarens have made it in as well, with Toss making it in. But Zasnishka, the pace he had in Q1, it's just not there. P15 it is for a Serbian, so not the best for him, but he'll be hoping for better in the race. You got the 2 racing points, Patel and Tereshnia, P12 and P13. Then you have Samet Özkan there in 14th. As we're now here for Q3, now this is where it's going to matter. For qualifying, we're going to have Johansson, Klaus, and Graf battling out for pole, and the others are going to obviously be in there as well. But the top 3 in the championship, the pole is going to matter. Every single position here in qualifying is going to be absolutely imperative in the championship. As FG currently on a lap. Through the hairpin he goes. Obviously he stayed with Ferrari ever since 2017. Ferrari, the only driver to retain both of their drivers ever since the series inception in 2017. Both have remained loyal to the Scuderia, obviously, over all these years. Both have enjoyed many race wins as well with each other. But FG, he's always remained, I'd say, the number 2 to Graf. Obviously, Dennis has beaten him every season, so FG's always been there in the number 2. But we'll see how the future will go for the Scuderia and their drivers. That's FG's now going to start this lap, and on board with the Swede we go through the first turn, the left-hander. Very difficult to nail your line through there. Now through turn 2, and now through the S-curves. He goes left and right and left and right. And this takes a very big strain on the tires and the driver as well, considering how much forces there is going through the driver. Now at turn 7 through Dunlop curve. Now to Degner curve, the right-hander on the curve there. Now into the brake. He's on a turn 9 as there's a bit of undulation through that corner as well. Now through his little kink at turn 10 into the brakes on a turn 11, the hairpin. Early on the brakes there, it's quite easy to overshoot into the hairpin. Then through turn 12, the long right-hander. As we're going to head into the left-hander of turns 13 and 14, now spoon curve. You've got to be able to be on the brakes, but can get on the power quite early through here. Now just down the paddock, start finish straight here into 130R, and I think this car just speaks for itself, doesn't it? Yeah, just absolutely fantastic to see the cars go through there. Now into the final couple of corners through turn 16, the Casio triangle, turn 16, and there's turn 17, and then just through into the right of turn 18, the last corner, and across the line it's a 130.875 from Miran Evci. So not bad from the Swede, but we'll see if anyone will be able to beat it. There's Johansson with a 131.1, so he is 0.3 off his fellow compatriot up there at the top. Got Lewis McIntyre with a 131.9. A bit further off at his Toro also. Got Gamba across the line and gets himself ahead of McIntyre. A few more guys are going to come across the line. There's Singh slotting in between Gamba and McIntyre, 31.875 for the Indian driver. As waiting for all the other guys to finish up their laps. You got someone just coming across the line to set their lap. That is Dennis Groff, and he is actually gone behind Jesper Johansson, who's currently in P2 as Ennis Parachki now goes second. So nice stuff there from Ennis Parachki, who gets himself into the 130s along with Miran Evci. As there's Alfred Klaus, and he gets himself ahead of Jesper Johansson. So yeah, he is set at 131 flat, so he's just under a tenth faster than Johansson. Mandic there in P7, so not the great stuff from him as he's the final car to cross the line, and that is all the first 10 times on the board. Miran Evci currently fastest out of anyone else from Ennis Parachki, and then Alfred Klaus in third. As Lewis McIntyre crosses the line, the Brit does not improve, as the Toro Rosso driver stays in P10, just behind Milka Singh in P9, and Franco Gamba in 8th. Fernando Tost there in 6th. Once again, not a bad qualifying for Tost. He's done very well to be up there. As speaking of the man, here he is. And through 130R he comes. And now just down to the Casio triangle. Let's see if he's going to finish up this lap. Through 16 and 17, now into 18, if he's going to finish it up. No, Tost dives into the pit lane. What about Parachki? Parachki is going to finish up this time, and he goes pole. He goes provisional pole by 300 a second. So Ennis Parachki now sits on provisional pole ahead of Miran Evci with a 138.37. It's got a few hundreds faster than the Swede. We were expecting a Mercedes to be on pole, but it may not have just been an Ennis Parachki. Either way, there's about 2 minutes to go in qualifying. Only man in the pits now is Fernando Tost. As we can watch Jesper Johansson as Thomas Mandic gets himself up into third ahead of Alfred Klaus. So not a bad effort at all from Thomas Mandic. But let's see Jesper Johansson then. Is he going to be able to improve with this lap? No! It's only P5 for Jesper Johansson. As he can't get himself into the 130s along with the top two. Lewis McIntyre, though, he manages improvements as he gets himself up into P9. This is not good news for Jesper Johansson, though. Not good news at all. As there's Franco Gamba, who's just going to start his lap. Dennis Groff pounding around the circuit. He's just going to start, or he's just going to finish up this lap. And he might just have time for another if he gets lucky and obviously decides to go with it as well. As he rounds 130R now into the Casio triangle. And then just through the final corner comes Dennis Groff. Let's see what the world champion in the Ferrari is capable of as he goes across the line. No improvement from Dennis Groff, and that is massive. Hopefully he's going to get this lap to finish it as well. Same as for Jesper Johansson. As the championship contenders are going to be starting P5, P6 And they have Klaus in P4 as well, so he's currently the favorite. But you've got all the number 2, so to say, taking the P1, P2, and P3 spot. But let's see Jesper Johansson. Is he going to finish up the lap? As he's just going to round the final corner. Yeah, here goes Jesper Johansson. Is the Super Swede going to be able to improve as he goes across the line? No! Jesper Johansson will qualify P5 here at Suzuka. And that is not going to do the Swede any wonders, I am sure. As I think he wanted to clinch the championship here at Suzuka. But it's not looking very good for him. Milka Singh is going to be next across the line as he rounds the Casio triangle. Now across the line will Milka Singh go, and Singh does not improve. Dennis Graf on a lap then as he heads through 130R now. And through 130R he goes, now down to the final couple of corners. Is he going to be able to improve and get himself ahead of Johansson and Klaus? Let's see as he will round the final corner. Can Graf improve and get himself up a few positions? No! Graf cannot improve, and Prix is going to be the final corner across the line, I think. No, wait, Johansson, is he on a lap? I think Jesper Johansson might have just got a lap in. I'm not sure. But I think Johansson just barely got a lap in there. But I don't think it's going to be an improvement. He's 3/10 off in the middle sector. So I think Johansson is unfortunately not going to be an improvement for him. That is if he obviously does finish up the lap and not just dive into the pit lane. We're going to see them as he comes round the final corner. And yeah, he's going to finish it up. So let's see. Can Jesper Johansson improve? No. And that means that it is going to be his teammate Ennis Parachki who secures pole position here at Suzuka. Right then, so that is Ennis Parachki's, I believe, 4th pole of the season. And he secures it at no other track than Suzuka. So, yeah, but this is going to be big news in the championship. We have Ennis Parachki from Milan FG and Thomas Mandic in 3rd. So can Mandic potentially finish on the podium today? Or will he move aside for Alfred Klaus, may I wonder? Either way, you've got Klaus there 4th, and then Johansson and Graf, P5 and P6. Remember, Johansson has to outscore Graf by 10 points, and Klaus by 3. So, at the moment, it's not looking too good for Johansson if he wants to clinch the title here at Suzuka. But the Ennis Parachki starting on pole. Looking to be a quite good race for him. Obviously, despite the fact he holds 3 poles to his name. Only one of those have been converted into a race win. And the second time he's won from pole, or the second time he has won the season, was not from pole. That race had Miran Evji start on pole, and he went on to finish P3. And that was at the Belgian Grand Prix. But we'll see what Ennis can do. Obviously, Miran Evji there in 2nd is going to be chasing down the 2nd win of the season. Obviously, he's only won once this season in Bahrain, and the rest he's just gone winless. Unfortunately for him, Klaus has not won since the British Grand Prix, so he's had quite the winless streak. Not like Evji's, but it's still up there. Either way, we'll see how things will play out as we gear up for the race. And we are here for the starting grid then before lights out here for the 2019 Japanese Grand Prix. It is Ennis Parachki, pole number 4 for the Macedonian, and alongside him on the front row is Miran Evji in P2. Thomas Mandic starts 3rd, and it's his teammate Alfred Klaus in P4. Then we have championship leader Jesper Johansson in P5, who could clinch the title today, with Dennis Graf in P6. Fernando Tost lines up P7 with Franco Gamba. P8, very good qualifying for McLaren. P7 and P8 with Toro Rosso of Lewis McIntyre in P9. Then we have the two Alfa Romeos of Milka Singh and Luca Farina. Singh running at the points in P10 with teammate Farina in 11th. Then it's Patel in 12th and his teammate Chereshnia in 13th. Özkan starts in 14th with the two Renault boys of Zasnishkai and Kulasek. Then it's Blackwood in 17th with Novikov, the Williams driver, in 18th position. And the final two cars on the grid will be Victor Albom and Josef Frederick Schuto. Right then, let's get underway with the race. Then it's Prashke on pole with Mirnavji in P2 as the lights are now coming on here at Suzuka. We've got 6 lights. And we're underway here at Suzuka. Looks to be a good start for Parash. He's already trying to cover off Mirnavji, but Mandich gets a lightning start. Look at that, as he's already wheel-to-wheel with Mirnavji, heading into the first corner on the outside line there, as he's wheel-to-wheel with the Ferrari. But Parachi really putting away them as they head out of the first corner, and Mandich is ahead. FG down to P5. There's a little bit of crash, and that's FG. And what has happened to Mirnavji? It looked to be the Ferrari up in the air there. I don't know what happened, but as he headed into turn 1, he's defending from Mandich on the inside line there, and he spun around. Oh dear, oh dear. That is a massive accident for Mir and FG, and I think that's gonna be him out of the race. And there's Gamba, and Gamba's out as well. So is Fernando Tost, and that's the two McLarens out. That's Tost in a wall, but massive accident for Mir and FG. But what has happened to Fernando Tost? Let's see this again. If we could get the onboard from the Polish driver as well. So on the start here is wheel-to-wheel with teammate Gamba, and there up ahead there's going to be FG losing control, and he gets collected by teammate Dennis Groff and catapulted across the Mercedes. But what happens here, I wonder? Just loses control and slides into the wall and clobbers the Armco. That's going to put Tost out of race by Gamba. Deer over the curb he went and just beached it on the gravel. So very spectacular accidents on the first lap here. FG out, Gamba and Tost out as well, and that brings Parashki up into P1 still, but Mandich P2 and Klaus now in P3. I think it was Johansson who FG was completely launched over, so it could leave Jesper Johansson with damage, which wouldn't be a very good sight for him and Mercedes. At the moment doesn't look to be a lot of damage, but Milka Singh, who's currently running up to P6 after all this drama, has really benefited from this. Same with Lavas Osnishka, who's going to move himself from P15 to P9 just in lap 1 here. So very, very well done from him, as Johansson is losing time, but Singh is actually getting on, so I think Johansson has damage. But it was a massive accident from Mir and FG. I don't think we've seen anything of the likes. As we head on to lap 2 then, there's Chereshnia chasing down his teammate Mohammed Patel then, as they head out of the first corner. This is the battle for points, as the battle for P5 between Johansson and Singh, which is a sentence I thought I'd never say, but here we are. As he's chasing down the Mercedes driver. Singh running in P6, might make it to P5 as well. That would be a fantastic result for the Indian driver. Says Asnishke P9, he is chasing down Lewis McIntyre. McIntyre himself is chasing down Luca Farina. As they head into the hairpin, no moves tried just yet, as Asnishke goes a bit wider than usual. He's trying maybe an alternative line through there. As Parachki leads by 9/10 of a second, Mandich is going to have to make sure that that gap doesn't drop to a second, because then he will be without DRS range, or he'll be outside of DRS range. Still head into lap 3. But Singh is actually gaining on Johansson, and Johansson is losing time on Dennis Groff. So Singh with DRS is probably gonna quite easily get past him. As Enish Parashki now sets the fastest lap of the race. This is really not what Jesper Johansson needs at the moment, as they head down the start-finish straight. No DRS just yet. As there is Patel chasing down Laban Sosnishkai. Sosnishkai who's chasing down McIntyre. 3-10 Sophie is on the Brit. I think he's going to get a very good helping hand down the club start-finish straight. As there's the other end of Kulasek who's chasing down Victor Albom there for P14. But yeah, really big shame to see the McLarens out. And Novikov's out as well. I didn't realize that. Maximilian Novikov is out. I think he must have been involved in something. We're going to see what happened to Novikov actually. Wherever he might be. There he is. And yeah, look at that. So into turn 1, there's a 3-wide situation here as he goes on the Renault of Kulasek. Just gets spun round and facing the wrong way into the wall. A very high speed he went off at, especially through turn 1. Luckily, it wasn't a very big impact for Novikov. As now down the paddock, start-finish straight here. Singh is gonna have the DRS on Jesper Johansson. No, I think the DRS is. Where are the DRS zones at Suzuka? I don't know, but either way, you still got Singh chasing down Johansson as they head on to the start-finish straight. Dennis Graf now has the fastest lap of the race, so that is good news. But there he is. Yeah, there's Singh with the DRS. As they head into turn number 1, you can see he's very close to the back of the Mercedes as Patel chasing down Laban Sosnishkai. We got Dennis Graf who's chasing down Alfred Klaus. Klaus who's a second off his teammate Thomas Mandic. They're in second, so Mandic not doing too bad at the moment. Finally the podium draw just may come to an end. But I'm only going to say may. I'm never going to confirm anything because I do not want to jinx him. As Singh is chasing down Johansson, he's on the offense. His teammate Farina is on the defense here. But Alfa Romeo running P6 and P7. It's going to be a fantastic result for them. Just as how it was in Fuji last time we were in Japan, when Farina secured his career best finish of P7 it was. He's currently running in the same position once again. As they all head through 130R. Johansson, yeah, he's losing massive amounts of time now. This is really not what he needs. As they don't start for the straight, Singh with DRS, is he able to get close enough? No, not yet on Jesper Johansson. He's going to have to stay behind the Mercedes driver. Either way, I don't think Alfa Romeo probably were expecting to fight with Mercedes today. But it's a pleasant surprise to see the top dogs out there. As Thomas Mandic now has caught up to Enis Peracci. Look at this. Could Mandic be a factor in securing the race win here? It could very well be. As you got Klaus there in third and Graf in P4. So this could get very interesting. Could Mandic be in contention for the race win? As they all round turn number 14, Spoon Curve. Mandic going to chase down Peracci for the lead. One is chasing down his third win, the other is chasing down his second. So we'll see how this goes. As they head through 130R into the Casio Triangle. Now Mandic is going to have DRS. He's going to head into the first corner. Hasn't really gained much through this. There's Klaus, I think he's pulling out the slipstream, I think, to defend from Dennis Graf. As there is Singh getting quite close to the back of Jesper Johansson. as they head through turns number 1 and 2. And you can see how close this pack is. That's absolutely crazy. As Mandich is just going to have to get close enough. Just needs to get a tiny bit closer, and he'll be able to make the move on Enis Parachki. As they head through the hairpin, no one getting close enough just yet. Everyone's still remaining very tightly packed at the moment in the field. As you can see, Jesper Johansson, he is 4 seconds off now. So I think that damage is really not doing him any favors at the moment. Either way, then, as they head down the paddock start finish straight into 130R. It's a 5/10 gap then between the two, as Singh chases down Johansson through the Casio Triangle. He had a look on the outside of Jesper Johansson there, but now he is very, very close to the back of the world champion. He's gonna have the DRS, and there behind is Luca Farina as well. So I think Johansson has backed him up, but here goes Milka Singh on the inside line of Jesper Johansson as they head through turn 2. The Alfa Romeo trying it on the Mercedes, but Johansson still manages to defend as Farina gets it completely wrong there. Very, very big slide from Farina. Luckily he was able to hold that. That was very impressive car control from Luca Farina. But now that has backed him up into Lewis McIntyre in 8th position, as Singh is still going to be wanting to chase down the Mercedes of Johansson, who just loses. He's losing a second a lap on everyone. That really goes to show how broken that car is, or whatever the issue may be. It must be some form of issue with Jesper Johansson. We know he's not that slow usually. So we're going to head into the left-hander spoon curve now through turn 13. Singh not really gaining much on Johansson. He's going to attempt to get a better exit at a spoon curve. Though he gets a decent exit on Jesper Johansson. So we're going to head through 130R. So he's about 3/10 off, just 4/10 into the braking zone, but it's gone up a bit. Johansson gets a better exit on Singh. He's going to have to try something into turn 1 once again, as he's going to have the DRS on the Mercedes. Will he try to get to turn 1? No, he stays behind. Tries to take an alternative line, though I thought he was having a look on Johansson, but no, looked like he was just taking an alternative line to maximize his exit out of the corner. But you can see Johansson, he's creating a massive gap between him and then the top 4, which is just growing and growing as the laps go by, should I say. As here's the top 4 at the moment. Here's Thomas Mandich, who is chasing down Enis Parachki. There is Klaus in 3rd with Dennis Graf in P4. Got Enis Parachki, who is commandeering this train, as there is a Snishkai on Lewis McIntyre as they head out of the hairpin. We're gonna see how Snishkai did this. As they're gonna head into, I believe this is Degner curve. As Snishkai gets close to Degner, then through turn 10 this is. There he goes on the inside. And he gets the car turned in nicely, gets a good exit on McIntyre, and that is Lasnishkai ahead. Up to P8 he goes. So very, very nicely done from Laban Lasnishkai. And up into 8th position he gets himself up to. There's Singh though, still chasing down Jesper Johansson. You can see how close he is to the back of the Mercedes. This is not how Johansson wants this Japanese Grand Prix to go, obviously. As they head through 130R, look how close he is to the back. And Johansson has a look on the outside. Jesper shuts the door. Oh no, he's rear-ended him. And he's gone into the back of Jesper Johansson. And that could be crucial in the championship as he's stuck. He's going to have to wait for these other guys to rejoin. And he's going to get back onto the circuit dead last. Jesper Johansson, it's all gone wrong for him here at Suzuka, and down to last position goes the Super Swede, and that is gonna be absolute heartbreak for Johansson. You can see there, if we could go on board with Johansson and see this, the rear view camera quite possibly. And we're gonna go on board with Singh first. We're gonna see what happened with Milka Singh. But yeah, Singh just got it completely wrong there as he heads through 130R, and Johansson blocks and just gets, I think he just misjudged the braking point of Jesper Johansson as he just went completely into the back of the Mercedes. Let's see this again then, as we're gonna look at the rear wing cam of Jesper Johansson. And this is through 130R. You can see he gains a lot through 130R, so he's gonna want to use his momentum on the outside. Johansson blocks, and Singh, as much as I hate to say it, I think that is unfortunately gonna be Milka Singh's fault. He was too late on the brakes and he just went straight into the back of Jesper. No, that's Victor Albom, and that is another retirement here at Suzuka. And you can see side by side there with Özkan. The fellow Scandinavian just loses control and straight into the wall he goes, Victor Albom. And for the second time at Suzuka, Victor Albom is out of the Japanese Grand Prix. That's a shame for Albom, it has to be said. But this gets very interesting now. Now Milka Singh is running in 5th. And you have Labas Osnishka there now battling Farina for P6. But that is massive. That could be really massive in the championship standings. With Johansson scoring no points, we've got Alfred Klaus there, who is going to close in on Johansson. As we're going to see these guys through 130R now. Graf is chasing down Alfred Klaus through 130R. They're going to go into the Casio Triangle. And yeah, no one gaining an inch on each other, it looks like, from this perspective. But yeah, we will see what happens here. Klaus obviously could play a bit of a rear gunner to Thomas Manders here, trying to hold up Dennis Graf, but considering he's fighting for the championship, maybe not. As with Johansson being taken out, we have the 2 Racing Points who are now in the points. You got Juan Patel running in P9 and Kai Treshny running in points. As there's Kulasek wheel to wheel summon Özkan through the first corner they go, and Özkan round the outside is going to be able to hold off the man from the Czech Republic. That's Kulasek in P13, as we have Kulasek, Steven Sosnishka who's chasing down Luca Farina for P6. These two obviously battled in Formula 2 back in 2017. Now they're reunited in Formula 1 as well. As they're now going to head into the hairpin. Can Sosnishka make the move on Farina just as he did on Lewis McIntyre? No. Stays behind for the time being, but for going a tiny bit wide. Could they maybe grant him a little bit of a better exit? As here we go then for the battle for the lead. Mandic chasing down Enis Parachki as he is 3/10 off. Is he gaining anything on Ennis? I don't think he is. Or no, he is gaining a tiny bit through 130R they go. Now into the Casio Triangle, into the braking zone. Then through the final corner, he's going to have the arrest here. So he's going to have to hope to get the best exit possible. He has gone on quite a good exit on Parachki. Will he be able to line up alongside on the outside line? No, he switches to the inside, Thomas Mandic. Here he goes on Enis Parachki as the two go side by side. Oh, bit of a slide there for Thomas Mandic. That could have ended horribly, but Enis defends on the outside line there from Thomas Mandic. So Mandic now gets within striking distance. Klaus gets a very bad exit through the SS there, and that's allowed Dennis Graf to close up, but it has put the two championship contenders a bit behind Parachki and Mandic, who are fighting for the race lead. As there is Lamos Osnishka, who's defending from Lewis McIntyre for P8, as he's chasing down Luca Farina for P6. So a very, very big battle here in the midfield for 6th position, as Farina is there in 6th, from Zasnishka, McIntyre, then Patel, and then Chervezhnia in 10th. See how close everyone is here, as Zasnishka goes a bit wide through the hairpin. I don't think it's actually him going wide, more of that maybe it's just that's just the line he likes to take. As you can see how close Mandic gets to Parachki. He really wants this race win, Thomas Mandic, trying to prove himself wrong to the fans and to Red Bull. That is not a one-hit wonder. As they head through 130R, you can see how close he gets to the back of the Mercedes as they head through the Casio Triangle. He is quite close to the back of Enis Parachki, as he is gonna go side by side with the Macedonian on the inside lines. We've had a crash in the background. It's Lewis McIntyre, but here goes Mandic on the inside line then as they go wheel to wheel through the first corner. Can Mandic make the move as he dips a wheel to the gravel? And no, it's gonna be Enis Parachki who gets ahead, and that is Lewis McIntyre who is out of the race. Let's see what's happened to the Brit. Now this is into 130R then. I think it must have been into the Casio Triangle, just as Johansson did it. There goes... Oh, yeah. And it's just how Jesper Johansson was taken out. That is Mohammed Patel. It was gone into the back of his fellow countryman. So I think McIntyre must have braked early. And Mohammed just wasn't expecting it. And that is another DNF. So really, this is turning out to be a race of attrition here at Suzuka. It's very unusual to have races like this, but all this is going to be is to just get your car until the end and try and keep your nose clean, and you'll be on for points. As Mandic is chasing down Enis Parachki, you can see how close he gets now. Lap after lap, he tries it into the first corner. We will see how this will go. Enis, obviously, we know he's good on the defense. Mandic, we don't really know much of him because he's not been competing for race wins, let alone podiums this season, so we don't really know much about his driving style, but he has the pace. We know that from Mandic. And is he gonna try it on this? He goes to the outside line, and oh, there's a crash in the back, and that's Klaus, and Klaus is off. He's made contact with Dennis Graf, and he's out of the race. Oh my goodness. And Alfred Klaus is out of the Japanese Grand Prix. His teammate is going to do him justice though, as here he goes on the inside of Enis Parachki to go wheel to wheel through turns 1 and turn 2. Alfred Klaus out of the Japanese Grand Prix as Graf has gone into the back of Alfred Klaus, and that has put the Swede out of contention for the championship. Well, it could very well be in the championship, considering Johansson's not going to score points either. Dennis Graf is now in prime opportunity here. Johansson was taken out by Singh, and now he collided with Klaus. So now he's running P3, and he could be in for the shot of the championship here if he does get past Mandic and Parachki here. But that is yet another DNFer. As I said, all about getting your car to the finish line here, as that brings Milka Singh up into 4th now. As Mandic now through Spoon Curve chasing down Enis Parachki. A lot of drama and a lot of incidents in this race, as there's Graf chasing down Mandic as well as we speak. So it's a top 3 battle for the lead. It's just gonna have to be very, very careful heading into the Casio Triangle. Doesn't want to try these sudden moves. We've seen a lot of drivers try moves on the outside and then misjudging the braking zones, just plowing straight into the back. As here goes Özkan on Jafari Blackwood as they enter the Casio Triangle, stays back on the Jamaican who's running in the points. Fantastically done from Messi. Here goes Mandic now on the inside. Gets the back out then as they head into turn 2. Can he take the lead of the race? Parashki goes back on the Croatian as there's Graf trying to take opportunity of it as Mandic goes over the curve there a bit. Not the best exit from him as Graf tries it once again, but Mandic defends from Dennis Graf, and that was very, very close between Mandic and Parashki. But yeah, Thomas almost had him as he headed into turn 2. But Parashki was able to hang on to the position as Mandic didn't get the best of exits out of the second corner. Here's Laban Sosnishka chasing down Luka Farina. There's Kulasek and Özkan going wheel to wheel for points. Let's see how Kulasek got this move done. As this through the spoon, or not the spoon. This is the S's here, the S curves as they're called. Now to Dunlop curve, has a look on the inside to Dunlop curve, so that's very ambitious from Kulasek, and Özkan just dips a tire into the gravel, and then through Degner, Özkan has to see the position. And that is going to be Wojtek Kulasek ahead, so nice stuff there from Wojtek Kulasek. Very, very cleanly calculated from the man from the Czech Republic. And that brings both Renaults into the points as the battle for the lead rages on between Enis Parashki, Thomas Mandic, and then you have Dennis Graf there hanging up in third. But now Mandic can see he has the run. He's got the pace on Enis Parashki, on the inside to 130R goes Mandic as the two go wheel to wheel through 130R. Parashki being pushed out the long way round as the two are going to be wheel to wheel through the Casio triangle. Who's going to be later into the brakes, into the hairpin as, oh no, Parashki getting it all out of shape, and Thomas Mandic leads the Japanese Grand Prix as Parashki completely misjudged the Casio triangle, and Parashki might lose that second here as well, as here comes Dennis Graf on the inside line. Is he going to try it? Oh, Macedonian, yeah, here he goes on the inside line of Enis Parashki as the two go wheel to wheel. Parashki defends though on the outside from Dennis Graf, as that's still going to be him holding on to P2, but Thomas Mandic take a bow. That was beautiful from the Croatian. Could we get a replay on that, please? That was, I want to see that again. Absolutely fantastic stuff from Thomas Mandic. Just put the pressure. Oh no. Oh no. Don't tell me the game's crashed. Oh no. We've had a game crash, ladies and gentlemen. No. Oh my goodness. I wanted to see that overtake again. We'll get on the way though. We'll say some wacky stuff happened. If you'll excuse me though, I'll go get some water because I am very sweaty, so I'll go get some water. Yeah, we'll get on the way with it shortly. Obviously, we'll have to reform the grid, which will be a bit... it's a bit tedious to do, but we'll get on the way with it eventually. But that's big news, and Thomas Mandic taking the lead of the race. And he did it in such a fantastic style. I'm very sad we can't see the overtake again because it was absolutely beautiful from Mandic. But we will see how this will go. Got Paraski in P2 again, so renewed hopes for the Macedonian as we are here. I think. Are we here? I think we are. Yeah, there we are. Finally. So, second time is the charm. Let's get on our way with the race once again. So, Tomas Mandic now starting on pole. 13 cars on the grid. As Paraski in P2 as we got 6 lights once again here at Suzuka. And we're underway for one more time. Here's Suzuka, and that's a good getaway for Enes Paraski as Mandic and Paraski gonna be side by side heading into the first corner as Paraski takes the lead back from Tomas Mandic then on the restart of the Japanese Grand Prix. Singh is in third. Look at that. Milka Singh in third, and that's Kulasek. Wojta Kulasek is out. And I think he's lost control and he's completely careened off into the runoff area here, and I think that's gonna put him out. Unfortunately, that's a shame for him. And that's Özkan, and Samet Özkan I think has gone off as well at the S-curve, and he's lost it. Couldn't hold it, unfortunately, but he'll be back on track, I do think. But now this brings Jesper Johansson at the boys. This is important. Johansson, the Mercedes mechanics obviously were allowed to fix his car during the red flag, so he's running in P10 with a car, with a fixed car. He's running with a car, what am I saying? But now Dennis Graf got jumped on the line by Singh, and that's Singh in third. So Milka Singh is now running in the podium positions here at Suzuka. But we're now down to 12 runners in this race. Jesper Johansson already lining up the move on Kai Tereshnia as we speak here. And there he goes on Kai Tereshnia on the inside the spoon curve, but he's gonna have to back out of it, unfortunately for him. And that's gonna be Josef Fredrik Schuto, who himself is chasing down the first points this season for Williams, and his first points since 2017, remember. As they all head through 130R, as Johansson chasing down Tereshnia. There he goes on the inside of the Polish driver as he opens the curve and he tags Tereshnia. Oh no! And that is disaster for Johansson and Tereshnia, and it's going to bring Josef Fredrik Schuto into the points that Tereshnia is out of the Japanese Grand Prix. That's another that is another car out of the race, but that is Johansson's fault 100%. Completely just went over the curb and into Kai, and there was nothing Tereshnia could have done there, unfortunately. But either way, that brings Tereshnia out. Johansson still remains in the points, and you have the Williams of Josef Fredrik Schuto running in 9th. Now, could it be finally points for Williams this season? We can only hope to have points. Either way, Paraski leads by 1.2 seconds from Tomas Mandic. Really, really fantastic start for Enes Paraski. And then you have Milka Singh holding on there in third. So really, really great stuff from Milka Singh as well. The man from India who has to have the greatest season so far. This could be a massive helping hand for him in the championship, as Dennis Graf is going to be chasing down the Indian driver though in the Ferrari customer car, remember, as they head into the as they head through the Casio triangle. Now down the start finish straight, and Enes Paraski says the fastest lap of the race. We're going to have Graf chasing down Milka Singh with DRS, or no, DRS is not active just yet, at least I don't think so. He's going to head through the S-curves now. Through the left and through the right. As Graf weaves to try and get closer to Milka Singh. Paraski though, he leads by 0.2 of a second. So that gap that Mandic had completely fallen away. As you can see how close Dennis is to the back of Singh. Milka Singh is going to be defending this podium with his life here, as we head into the hairpin. Also remember how Singh made contact with Johansson earlier this race. That could be penalties imposed for the Indian driver, so we don't know what is going to happen to Singh eventually. Obviously, we'll have all the penalties sorted post-race. But Dennis Groff will be chasing down the Indian drivers. They head through 130R. He's going to be trying to force him into an area. He goes on the outside line then of Singh as they head into the Casio triangle, but they make contact and Singh is forced wide. Groff slips up into third as that's Singh down to fourth, and Farina already looking to challenge his teammate. It's 2 Alfa Romeos now battling for P4 as it is in this race, as Farina is going to go on the inside line of Singh. Singh's not going to lose 2 positions here as they head into turn 1 now. The first corner, Farina on the inside line, forcing his teammate wide through turn 2. It's going to be Singh who gets the better exit on Farina, and he gets past his teammate for the time being. As there's Johansson getting past Josef Fredrik Schuto. Let's see how he got past the Slovakian as he goes on the inside line into the first corner. And there's not much Schuto can do to fight back from the Mercedes. And that brings Johansson up into P9. Now got a 2-second deficit to Jafari Blackwood in P8, but Singh down to P4 then after a little mistake. That brings Dennis Groff up into third, so he's fallen out of the podium unfortunately. As here's Lavan Sasnishkai chasing down Luca Farina for P5, but he's got Mohammed Patel there in P7. As we head through turn number 12. Now through turns 13 and 14 this is. Through Spoon Curve, he's going to be chasing down Farina. He's going to be chasing down his teammate Singh for P4. So they both are going to be fighting for seats next year. We don't know how the grid is going to look for next season. It'll be very interesting to see as Patel is chasing down Lavas Osnishik to see how close he is to the Serbian. Gonna, as they headed to the Casio triangle, thought he was having a look on the outside line, but Patel has stayed back. As they now head down the start-finish straight, Patel is gonna have DRS on Sasnish, guys. He's gonna go on the inside of the Serbian. I do think that's there goes Farina having a look on the inside of Singh, but yeah, it wasn't close enough to be up alongside him, as Dennis Groff has already caught up to Tomas Mandic, so Mandic is falling off the pace. I don't know what that may come down to, but Mandic just can't find the grip as opposed to Dennis Groff. As they head through turn number 9. Now into the hairpin, you can see it closes up on Mandic here by quite a bit. I think he'll be able to get past in the following couple of laps. So we're thinking championship-wise at the moment, Groff is going to score 15 points and Johansson is only going to score 2. Essentially, if Johansson finishes P8 or higher, that means that Alfred Klaus is out of championship contention. So all Johansson has to do at the moment to eliminate Klaus is get past Jafari Blackwood as he's got to go to the outside line, but he backs out of it. Oh, that was very scary. Last time we had someone had a look on the outside line into the Casio triangle. They go rear-ended as there goes Dennis Groff on the inside of Tomas Mandic, but yeah, he tried it there, but Farina is going to go on his teammate as he goes on the inside, takes the curve a bit too much there, and that is going to allow Singh to get past for P4 as Johansson is chasing down Jafari Blackwood, the F2 champion, for P8. Both obviously ACOC champions in different tiers, which is very, very interesting. As you have one man chasing down the other through the Degener curve they go. See how close he gets to the back of the Haas. He is itching to get past Blackwood at the moment. Goes a bit wide, adjusting his line through turn number 11. There's Farina, who's still chasing down Milka Singh. The teammate battles at Alfa Romeo really, really high at the moment. But either way, it's going to be great points for Alfa Romeo. It's going to be 22 points in the bag for Alfa Romeo. That's going to give them a massive boost in the championship. As there's Johansson. Is he going to try it? Or Jafari Blackwood into 130R. Yes, there he goes on the inside. Oh, gets a bit out of shape though as he heads out of a 130R. Went a bit wide there and had to. I think he might actually lost control that time, but I'm not even sure. But either way, there goes Dennis Graf on Thomas Mandic. Over the curve he goes. And yeah, he's going to have to back out of that. Same with Farina, who's chasing down teammate Singh for P5. You can see how close he's to the back of his Indian teammate through the S's. As there is Dennis Graf still chasing down Thomas Mandic. He's only got about 4 laps to do it though. As heading into the hairpin they go. Graf tried to make him a manage. He needs a good exit out of here if he wants to make a move to spoon curve, quite possibly. There's Farina. He is also chasing down Singh. So these are the main 2 battles we're seeing at the moment. The battle for P2 between Mandic and Graf, and then we have the battle for P4 between Singh and Farina. And there goes Zasnishka just hanging on there in P6, who's made up 9 positions this race. So really fantastic stuff from Lava Zasnishka. Same goes with Jafari Blackwood, who started, what was it, P17. As there goes Jesper Johansson on the inside of Jafari Blackwood. Was just talking about him. As there he goes on the inside. Blackwood being forced out wide as he go flat out to 130R. Now into the Casio triangle as that's Singh. Oh no, and I think we may actually be able to piece together what has happened here. Could it be Farina who's gone into the back of his teammate? Oh yeah. Oh no, and there's gonna be stern talks at Alfa Romeo, and that's Johansson, and that's Jesper Johansson, and he's crashed. Once again, I believe, did he make contact with Jafari Blackwood as he went on the inside into 130R there. Looked to be moved on and dusted. On the outside into the Casio triangle. Blackwood, oh, when he's tagged Johansson, and Johansson straight into the barrier. It's probably broken his steering. And that is 2 DNFs at the same corner on the same lap. Johansson and Singh are out of the race. Oh, I can't believe it. And but this is going to throw the championship wide open. Klaus is going to still be in championship contention. Dennis Graf is going to pull himself closer to the championship. So we thought this would be an absolutely, dominant season for Johansson. We thought, okay, he's going to wrap up the title prematurely, but no, Graf is actually hanging on, and he's battling Mandic for P2. This is now brought Singh down to P10, so Alfa Romeo really thrown away their points here with Farina going into the back of Milka Singh, and that's down to 10 finishers. I don't think we've had a finishing count this low in a very, very long time. So yeah, it's very weird to see the drivers like this. It's not a very, very good driving standards. I think this is going to be it's not going to be the best FIA debriefing, I would say, and the stewards are going to have a lot on their hands after this race as well, and a lot of stern talks with the drivers are going to be held. As Dennis Graf chasing down Thomas Mandic through the Casio triangle. They go now down the start-finish straight. Says Luca Farina hanging on in 4th. He's at the moment. I guess that's one way to get up with the 4th position, but yeah, Graf versus Mandic is the battle on track. Then we have Patel versus Zasnishka as well. A little bit of a battle that is forming. But hopefully this should be the end of the incident. So I don't think any of us are wishing for any more crashes. As Graf heads through turn number 9, chasing down Mandic. You can see how he gets so close during the mid part of the corners, but he just needs that little bit more to try and get past Thomas Mandic for the race lead. Just how Mandic waited patiently to get past Parachki before. He's gonna have to wait. Yes, now down 130R they go. Graf is gonna have the slipstream on Mandic as they head into 130R now. Is gaining. And into the Casio Triangle they go. My best wishes is for any of the drivers to not try moves into the Casio Triangle, judging by how all the moves into that corner have gone. As Graf chases down Mandic now into the first corner. He's got a very good run on Mandic there as he goes on the inside line of Thomas Mandic. Oh my goodness! Massive slide for Dennis Graf. Can he get the move done though? No, he can't. But oh, that was... oh my goodness, that was one hell of a slide from Dennis Graf. If we could get that on board, that was absolutely... you can see that there it goes on the inside. It goes on the curb and just... oh! How did he not make contact with Thomas Mandic? That is so scary. And just for good measure, another snap of oversteer. Imagine if we would have made that move though. That would have been absolutely fantastic. I think that would have been overtake of the season from Dennis Graf. But turn 1 is very, very high speed. And you do not want to get a snap of oversteer and just lose it into the first corner, because we don't know what would happen then. It could be a massive accident for all we know. As we have Patel chasing down Zasnishka for P5. Labos Zasnishka currently on for his best ever finishing performance in the ACOC, as he currently is running P5. Josef Fredrik Schuto is in 8th position, and I know everyone has basically been taken out of the race, but this is going to be Williams' first points since the Spanish Grand Prix in 2018, and Josef Fredrik Schuto's first points since the 2017 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And I have to say, absolutely fantastic to see Josef Fredrik Schuto up there, finally in the points, as we now approach the final lap of the race. Enes Parachki he's looking set to win this race. 8.6 seconds he's ahead of, as Dennis Graf has a look on the inside line then of Thomas Mandic, but he is going to stay behind the Croatian. I don't think he's got the opportunity to try the move. Same with Mohamed Patel. He stayed behind Lamos Zasnishka. He isn't close enough to try it on Zasnishka. So things might just stay as they are. But we'll see how it goes. Either way then, it's been one wild ride of a race, let's say that. 10 finishers is a number that we haven't had in a very, very long time in the ACOC. The least amount of finishers we've ever had, I believe it was 6 at the 2017 Italian Grand Prix. And now we're getting close to those numbers. Obviously, we don't like to see a race where a lot of drivers go out of contention. But this man, he's kept it clean the entire race, and he's pulled through for a very dominant victory. In a very chaotic race, he has kept calm, and he is here for win number 3, as Enes Parachki wins the Japanese Grand Prix, and Thomas Mandic is just gonna hold up Dennis Graf for P2. His podium drought comes to an end, as Thomas Mandic is on the podium, Dennis Graf P3 to keep the championship fight alive, and Luca Farina P4 with Labas Zasnishka P5. But keep the applauses going for the man in 8th position, Josef Fredrik Schuto. Welcome back to the points club. P8 for Josef Fredrik Schuto. That's his first points in almost 2 years of racing. And Milka Singh's just going to come on as the final finishers, P10. And that is it for the Japanese Grand Prix. And it's Enes Parachki who wins pole win and fastest lap here at Suzuka, with Thomas Mandich finally on the podium again. P2 with Dennis Groff in third. Luca Farina, fantastic result for him. P4, despite it being quite the rocky race. These are obviously, remember, these are provisional. There's going to be incidents we're going to have to investigate for the next race. Then we have Lavas Nischa in 5th, Mohamed Patel in 6th, Jafari Black in 7th, Josef Shuto in 8th. Fantastic stuff from Shuto. He's kept calm the entire race, and it's so glad to see him back in the points. Obviously, Williams have been having a massive struggle, and yeah, it's nice. Samet Özka for just P9, and then Singh in P10. And the rest are non-finishers. We've got Jesper Johansson, Kai Shreshny, Wojtek Kulisek, and the rest of the grid, which aren't highlighted here, because this is the separate race session from the original one, because we had a restart. But that has been it for Formula 1. Thanks so much for watching. It's been one hell of a race. As I said, we've had a lot of drama, a lot of action, overtakes, and you know, it's been one hell of a return to Suzuka. But that has been it for the ACOC today. Thanks so much for watching. We will see you tomorrow for the Formula E race, I believe at Lippo Village for the Tangerang Prix on Sunday. So make sure to not miss that tomorrow. Either way, that's been it for me. I've been your friend and neighborhood commentator, Miran FG. We will see you when the ACC returns tomorrow. Thank you, and goodbye.